we up and live? It looks like we are. Sound good? Everything good? Everything working? People here? Who's all here? Still I'm live, says the stream's good. Well, let's get on it. First off, let's talk about the retraction with Duet. Supposedly, you can send a Duet. Supposedly with a Duet, you can live change your retraction. Speak time. Just so you know, I'm still a little dosed. Muscle relaxants for my neck. It's quite painful. Anyway, I'll get over it. For some reason, it's not working. This is my little retraction test, and obviously nothing changed for 10 different settings. So I'm doing something wrong. Supposedly, you send a M207 and then the number, and it should change your retraction. It doesn't. Just stays on default, whatever you had. So I'm missing something. There's something that I'm missing. I'm doing it now in Simplified 3D, which it seems to be working. Not that you can see it. Can you see it? Can you see the printer over there? You can't actually see the print, can you? Nope. No, I wonder if I can zoom. Because I have a little control. Nope, that's not what I wanted, you dumbass. Where's camera up here? Camera settings. I believe if I change the camera settings, it'll automatically change on this. You have to be patient with me because I don't know what the hell I'm doing with all this OSP and live feed and all that crap. Oh, it's on widescreen, but I don't see a zoom. Oh, there we go. I did it zoom on both. Oh wow, you can move it with the camera and everything. That's pretty cool. Can't really see it because the corner's in there. But anyway, I tried. Yeah, thanks. That's my printer. I designed that. It's not as nice as it looks. It's got many a flaw, which is why I still haven't released it. Many a flaw. But it should be big. And it's not that big yet, but it will be someday. But anyways, the retractions with the Duet. I'm having serious strain because it's such a long, as you can see, very long Odin tube right here. I think it's about 800 or 900 millimeters. Right? Yeah. This is a 500 millimeter print. So, trying to dial in my retractions because it's just always stringy. Now, next thing is my trash can. I'm very upset about this. I printed it in face mode and the classic. Oh, you can't see that, can you? I gotta turn the camera on. The classic delamination issue. Very upsetting because this is really nice filament. Now the other thing I've noticed with this trash can, I don't know, can you see that this way? Any of these little loopies here, any of his indents, you can't do in base mode or without supports even, because it's such a steep angle. So I'm actually designing a new trash can to fit. So this right here is at 250% of the original trash can walker thing. I'm going to reprint it just for time and energy at 200%, because I just thought, which I already started doing. Here's the band for it. This is really nice filament. I don't know if it's showing on there, the color. This is the reddest red of red I've ever redded. Redded. Yeah, I like that color of that can. That green, it's not bronze. I'm just gonna call it soft green or metallic green. It's a beautiful color. I love it. I'm gonna redo the can in it, but it's not. I'm just not gonna do it in spiral mode, base mode. Here's the collar for it. The legs go on here. This is Printed Solids Modesto 3D filament. It's basic PLA. It's a little pricey. It's not terrible. It's $29 for a roll. It prints absolutely gorgeously. The only problem I have with it is some stringing, which is the printer, not the filament. That's what this is too. This is the reddest red I've ever printed. It's just the most solid, beautiful color. I used to like Hatchbox just because, not because Hatchbox is great. It's good filament. It's not great. There's better, there's worse. It's kind of right in the middle. But their red was always very deep, dark. Not dark, but very solid red. There wasn't any orange in it. It wasn't yellow. It wasn't faded. You get some of those cheapo reds and they have a kind of faded. It almost looks like it's been sitting in the sun and the red's bleached out a little. Bleached coloring, I guess is the color, what you can call it. This is very red. This is the nicest red that's just general, everyday, basic red of any filament I've dealt with. And I've got probably 30 rolls of red. No exaggeration. Most of them I've gotten rid of. I just love red, if you haven't noticed. But I think I'm going to redo the can instead of in that green. I'm going to use the Merlot. This is, God, my brain isn't working. I'm not going to be doing this for very long because these muscle relaxants really screwed my mind. This is, yep. You guys know what it is, just because I can't think of the name, because my brain's fried. The elixir, polyalchemy elixir. I think I'm going to do the can in this. Then I also have some very old, and I need to burn it up. I have some old Protopasta matte finish red, where it's got the little fibers in it, and I think I'm going to do the legs in that. Burn some of it up. So it should be a red can. But I redesigned the can, so you don't have to have as many supports. This thing, the way it's done now, all these little bumps are too steep when you bump it up in size, when you scale it up. So, I mean, this is actually hollow right here, right where this bump is. Break it apart. That pisses me off so much. It peels so easily. It came out so pretty too when it was done. Anyway, anyway, that is the issue with that. I'm going to reprint it, and I'm actually doing this not because everybody else is doing it. I just really like the look of it. And I'm going to bring it to my office and use it for my office garbage can, which I don't have one of right now. I need a small one for just papers and stuff. So that's that. The other thing is I just got this. I've been using this Capricorn tubing for a bit. I've actually found on that printer, ow, don't look like that. I had to go to the second grade, I guess you'd call it. They have their two grades for the Capricorn tubing. They have the really light and the really dark. The really dark, non-see-through stuff is actually a tighter tolerance, but I found it to be too tight. If I put even the slightest rough filament through it, that rough filament will bind in it. It keeps jamming. I mean, I put any kind of retraction at all in it and it'll jam like instantly. So I had to put the medium grade of Capricorn tubing, I guess you call it, the semi-transparent, on that, and that seems to be working beautifully with just about everything now. But this was the 3.0 diameter to go inside that hot end for that printer over there, which has got a regular old everyday MK8 from back in the day, which I still love. That's still, as far as I'm concerned, that's still the best PLA/TPU printer you can get. That's the best extruder for those two materials, and that's pretty much all I print on it. About it. Oh, and this stupid thing. This thing has become a nightmare. I don't know if you can see the whole unit back here, and I'll point the camera at it. But, oh crap. I'm old and tired. Am I going the right way? That back there is the Fortis by Tech, and this is the head for it. And I'm going to get some biscuits. You guys don't have to wait for me to get some biscuits. Thank you. Awesome.
It's broken.
No, it's not. It's not assembled yet.
Oh, okay. I'll leave you alone so you can assemble it.
But even this is just, nothing's coming out square and straight. This has been kind of a nightmare. Nothing really lines up. These holes in this lower plate and this plate are off about 0.5 millimeter. I had to bore it out, change it. This mounting system where they use the screw into the slot with the square bolt, it's just obnoxiously inaccurate and not very strong. And it's kind of bent. I don't know if you can see it in this, but this mount for the lead screw nut is slightly out of square. Not real happy with this machine. Oh, and that's the other thing, is it's twisted this way, which I think I can fix by adjusting these screws, but it's just, I don't know. It doesn't, I was hoping it would be a better machine for what it is. But that's about it. I'm not going to stay on here long. This is about a really nice filament. I'm going to reuse some more of this. I highly recommend you check this out. Printed Solid carries this. And like I said, this is the reddest red I've ever. It's just a really nice red. I mean, if you want a bright cherry red, this is it. That's about it. Time is it? 8:23. Let's see how my retractions are going. Well, they're much better than what the other one was. I wonder if I can turn this thing so you can actually see it. You can sort of see it. It's kind of too far in the background, huh? But at least it's not banding between it already, like this one is. So I'm getting closer to what I need. And that's about it. Anyone use a Duet? Any of you guys use a Duet? Do you know what the freaking retraction command is supposed to be? Supposedly you can do a retraction on the fly through the firmware. Now, everything I've read said that it was 207, M207, and then a number. But I'm thinking there's got to be something else that you got to add to it, like M20 or M207S, whatever your retraction number wants to be, or something, I'm not sure. And there's not much documentation on it, so I've yet to figure out how to do it live. That's being done with Simplify 3D. I just did the processes up to stack, which I really don't like, because I'd rather do it with Kira. Which is another thing I thought was funny, is I was reading through some of the Duet documentation, and one of their things I've noticed is I don't think Duet likes Simplify 3Ds very much. Because there's a couple of spots, and let me see if I can find it again, that they downright mock Simplify 3D, going, don't do this, or this command does this, and only Simplify 3D ignores it, and it's a bad thing. I was rather shocked when I saw it. They actually don't recommend, there's a couple of spots they literally say you're better off not using Simplify 3D, which is fine by me. I'm not the biggest fan of Simplify 3D anyways. It's a good size here, it works. A lot of people use it, it works, but for the money I just don't think it's worth it. Anyway, that's about it. Nobody's got any info on Simplify 3D. That's life. I really do want to, not Simplify 3D, to do that. Ow. I will say that printer seems to like Simplify 3D better than Cura. I'm getting a lot less, and it's just the jerk settings or something, but I'm getting a lot less ribbing, when you get the vibration back and forth and you get the little rib in the uprights. It's not terrible with Cura either, but it's there. I don't know if you can see it. Probably not, because I won't focus on it. But it's got the rib going across. It goes all the way down. Yeah, I was just talking about the CNC. Hi, John. I'm building the head. I'm having the same problems with this as I was with the others. This type of movement mount for the, can you see that? For the lead screw nut is just, I don't like it. It's basically one of those, they cut a slot in it, and then you put a flat nut in it, and then you go up through with the nut, with the bolt, and catch the nut, and it just traps it down in, but it allows it to twist. These keyholes are all that's holding it, and it's not tight in those keyholes. So as it goes back and forth, it's got play. Not a lot, but it's got something. It's not the best mounting method. I don't know why they wouldn't just make it an L bracket. Just screw it down in a couple places, or a T bracket, put 2 screws top and bottom, and then have it solid with this plate. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But that's life. Yes, that's a Z head for the CNC machine right there. That would be the Z head. It actually mounts like this, and the actual motor mounts right here. And this allows or it goes like this actually. That's the top, that's the bottom. Motor mounts right here. This thing spins. Not only that, this lead screw doesn't even reach here. They have this bobblehead bearing, a floating bearing. And it's not even touching it. And I have it completely out of, if I go any further out, the screw won't catch. And I have it as far out on the motor as I dare to. So yeah, it's got issues. I have another lead screw. It's all the standard 4-start 2-pitch, so I may take one of my old lead screws off of that printer that are smaller and cut it to fit that and make it a little longer. Oh, one other thing I'm thinking about doing. Maybe you guys can help me decide. I still have some extrusions left over. These are from building that. Building the Core XY machine. It's a good start to a new printer here. So I'm thinking of building another one. And I actually have most of the stuff left over from the original Max Micron. So I may build another like i3 style printer. Make it a little bigger. I'm almost thinking that I'll take that printer and just make it bigger. But I have enough material here to start building it before I have to transfer the parts. And even that, most of the electronics I have the old original board. I have a couple of motors I could get. That would be the only thing I need. I got all the wiring. I got hot ends. I actually have a weird little hot end I really, really want to try using. I actually put it on there. Let me show you that. This was bought at is it here? Or in here? It's right here. There it is. This I purchased off of eBay, which is this little build your own hot end, if that makes sense. It's just each one of these parts is individual. It's really kind of cool. And they all just screw onto the heat break. Oh, come apart. So you just use an old MK8 heat break and you just screw on parts. You can stack these if you want. You can build them any way you want. You just thread it all onto the 6mm pipe tube heat break. And just stack it up any way you want. Screw a hot end on the bottom of it and you're done. So I've been thinking about building one to run this little hot end. And this thing costs like $4, I think, off of eBay. Can't remember the name of the company. Oh, Rip Champions, which is now Gulf Coast Printing or something like that. They renamed because the two guys that started it kind of split up and went their own ways, and one of them restarted the company under a new name, or so they say. So I want to build another printer maybe, and basically replace the Max Micron and just make one a little bit bigger. Doesn't even have to be that much bigger. That's 190 by 190 cubed. I would probably make it 250, I guess. 250, 250. Have a fan that flat? What do you mean that flat? Oh, that small because that's such a small fan? No, but I'll just make a dock that goes and fans it into it. Either that or I was actually thinking of just using the regular turbo style, one of these kind of fans. And you just make the duct go down into that little hot end. I think that'll actually cool better than a regular, 40mm fan will. I think I can force more air with that. And just build the ducts with both of those. I'm not going to really care about it being quiet because I'm going to use the old MKS board. And just deal with it. That's about it. I'm actually working on cleaning out my basement. So hopefully I can get these things out of my bedroom. Because if you haven't noticed, this is actually my bedroom, which is one of the largest rooms in the house. That's why I have it, and I'm putting all the equipment in here. But I'd like to start running some bigger prints with that now that it's actually running halfway decently. And even though it's fairly quiet, it's still too loud for me to sleep around. So I'm probably going to clean out my basement and move all the equipment into the room in the basement, which I hope to do by the end of September. Other than that, I need to get off of here because I can't think straight. I'm probably very boring to watch at this point because my brain is just fried from the muscle relaxants from my neck. Capricorn. I love the Capricorn. Not sure if I do love it actually. actually or not. It's kind of pricey for what it is. This is $7 for this little piece. Now, I don't mind because, I mean, you only use maybe an inch for each hot end. I don't even think you use that much. So, I don't really care, but it just seemed really kind of expensive for a piece of PTFE, dude. I don't know. Yeah, it was put together on a flat sword. I think that's just twisting from me screwing it together. Some of it. That's not really the problem. I can straighten this out. I mean, this is twisted right now, but I can straighten this out by loosening these two screws and these two screws and just straightening it out and reassembling it. My thing is the way this mounts right here. It's literally just, I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like the cheap cabinets you get where you put the nut in there and then you go through. There's a slot in the secondary board. You put the bolt through and it just crushes it and traps it. And these aren't tight enough to do that. I mean, if this was very accurate, right here, these two slots where the two teeth go into, I would be okay with it. But they're really not. And there's just no way to hold them straight. But the only thing I can think of to do, and I'm probably going to do it, is build it instead of tightening this nut right away, leave it a little loose. Build it, move it up and down a few times so the actual nut and lead screw align it where you want it, and then trap it. And that way it's held in place by the lead screw and the lead screw nut. I don't know. Their directions on this they're not terrible, I gotta say. I've seen much worse directions for assembly on the unit than they have, but it's, I don't know. It needs to be more detailed. How's the movement without the lead screw attached? I don't know. I never tried it without the lead screw attached, to be honest with you. The bearings aren't greased at all. I greased them all. There's an advertisement for you. I greased them all with my... If you guys haven't seen it, I might as well pitch my little toy that I built years and years and years ago, and it's getting all really popular now. And what did I do with it? My grease packer. I don't know what I did with it, and I'm not going to go searching because my neck's killing me. Every time I look around, it makes it hurt one. You can go on Thingiverse and look for my little grease packer tool that I made. It's become rather popular on Thingiverse, but I had to grease them all. They were bone dry. There was not even oil on them when I got it, which is another thing that's kind of weird. Now, I don't know if there's a reason for that. I got to study. You might not want grease in here with a CNC because you're throwing wood chips or metal chips or plastic chips all up in the air. So it might be a reason they use something extremely light. I mean, it moves alright. I'm actually surprised how well it does move. It moves pretty smoothly, but it's got kind of a clunk to it. You can almost hear it. And that's not it bottoming out, it's just changing direction. Oh, and that's the other thing. If I do bottom it out, I don't know if you can see that. Let's see how this one's hitting before that one. Nothing's square. Let's see if I can angle it so you can actually see it. Yeah, there you go. See how this one's not hitting and this one is? Nothing's square. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And that's the way this mounts to these two slider rods. They're actually threaded and you screw them on directly. So if the threading isn't machined correctly, I can't square it. Now again, I can fix that too by adding washers and stuff, but come on. I'm at the point I'm just going to build it as is now. Yeah, it's more than a 16th out. It's probably an 1/8 out, if not more. It's probably an 1/8 out. Yeah, but they're parallel, so that they are is the two rods are actually parallel. So I'm not going to screw it. I think I'm just going to stop analyzing it. I'm going to just build the whole thing, finish building it. I'm pretty close to built mechanically. I still got to do all the wiring and crap. But I'm pretty close to mechanically finished building it. I think I'm just going to finish building it, wire it up, hook it up, run it a bit, figure out all the issues it has at once, and analyze it built instead of sitting here trying to pick it apart as I build it, because it's just getting to take too long to adjust everything one piece at a time. I think, like I said, I'll just build it, run it a bit, figure out what's wrong, tear it down again, or tear each part down, fix the part, move on to the next part. So I think I'm pretty close, actually. I mean, again, it's only, I mean, it sounds like a lot, $800 for a CNC machine. What's the closest one? It's like 15. One of those ones that Matter Hackers carries, and they're tiny. They're only like 1 foot square cutting area for $1,200. That's only $800 with the controller. You can get it for $650 without the controller. It's only $800 with the controller, and it's 18 inches by 3 foot. It's pretty big. That's not tiny. So anyway, I think that's about it, because my neck's bothering me. I need to eat some food and take a pill, which I don't want to do, but I got to, because my neck's beginning to really drive me nuts. Anyway, on that note, we'll keep it short. It's still longer than I expected, about a half an hour. That's good enough. Half an hour is good, right? Anyway, have fun, keep printing, enjoy your day. It's Sunday. For anyone in the U.S., enjoy tomorrow off too, because tomorrow's a holiday here in the States. Yeah, how much was that, Bruce? 12 by 12? 5 years ago. Zen Tool Works. How much was that, Bruce? Where'd you bolt already? Yeah, so it's the same price. It's probably cheaper now, I'm guessing. But that's only 12 by 12. This is 18 inches by 3 foot. That's the actual cutting area, supposedly. Again, I haven't tried it yet. It's a little bit bigger than that. Anyway, I'm going to kill it now. See you guys. Thanks for stopping by.